Hey, so I got a quick little vlog here for you. I wanted to talk about E.T. the Extraterrestrial on the Atari 2600. Uh, and a lot of people who hear that name, they say like, "Oh, it's like the worst video game ever." Um, and you hear so much stuff about it, and like if it's actually buried in the Alamogordo desert in New Mexico. I'm not going to say if it is or isn't. That's for you to find out. But you will find out in the documentary Atari Game Over. And I have watched it. It is really good. I do highly recommend people watch it. Kind of get like a little history of Atari and like a little bit about the ET cartridges. But I wanted to talk about my view on E.T. Well, firstly, a lot of people say that E.T. is like the worst video game ever. And that just simply is not true. There are far worse Atari 2600 games that are way worse than the ET, and not even just on the 2600, but there's like far worse games like on any other console. But yeah, so a lot of people, they say that it's the worst video game ever, but truth be told, a lot of those people that say that and like preach about it have not even played the game or even seen the game. They haven't even seen gameplay of it, at least. So they just go off of other people's opinions. But I have played it. I played this like a long time ago. I've played it, I've beaten it, and my thoughts are that it's actually not a bad game. It's very frustrating, or it can be very frustrating, and you have to like really know what everything is, and that's why that back in the day there were things called manuals. Nowadays manuals are such an outdated thing, and it's very, very rare when you get a game that has a manual in it. A lot of it's like, sign up for this or whatever. Or do people still do that? But yeah, so you had to read the manual, look at the pictures, understand what they mean, and once you got all of that information like memorized and you play the game, it's like, oh, this actually isn't as bad as people say, or it's not as complicated as people say. So yeah, it's really not a bad game. It can be fun. I have been very frustrated playing the game. But yeah, so I think it is pretty wild that the ET cartridges, all of them were like, the ones that they didn't sell, because when they were selling the games, they sold like millions of them, and then people were like, we want a refund, and so they had to take back millions back. Of course, not everybody got their game refunded, whether they wanted to keep it because they actually realized it's not that bad of a game. But yeah, they took millions of it, and supposedly they buried it. I'm not gonna say. I'd like for everybody to watch the documentary Atari Game Over. But yeah, so supposedly they had buried them, but there's something that happened to them. That millions did get recalled back, or not recalled, but refunded. But I want everybody to kind of understand why E.T. might have been deemed like the worst video game ever. Howard Scott Warshaw is the creator of E.T. He's also the creator of Yar's Revenge, his first game, and he next created Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Howard gets a call from, I think it was Ray Kassar. I think that's how you say Kassar. But anyways, I think it was Ray Kassar. I can't remember. I'm 99% sure. But anyways, so he gets a phone call and he's like, "Hey, do you want to make an ET game? You'll only have like 5 weeks to make it." And without missing a beat, Howard's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so Ray's like, "Okay, get ready. There's gonna be a plane. There's gonna be a plane waiting for you at this time at this place, and we're gonna go meet Steven Spielberg, and you're gonna propose the game to him." And so Howard's like, "Okay," and then it kind of like finally sets in like, "Oh, I only have 5 weeks to make a game," which typically it took about 5 to 10 months to make a game. Probably like 5 months to make a game, and about 5 to 7 months of like actually reviewing it, playing it, creating the artwork and just marketing the game. So the games would be made, and then like marketing would take forever to get the game released because they want to make sure it was actually ready for the public. Not like nowadays where it's like as soon as a game is like the last bit of code is made, they go and sell it, and it's like bugged and terrible. But anyway, so he was only given like 5 weeks to make E.T. And so Steven Spielberg's like, "Okay, yeah, we can have the go ahead of making this game." And so Howard goes to work and he makes the game, and then whenever it's done, it's published, and then everybody hates it. So I wanted everybody to kind of understand why it might have been deemed the worst game, because he was only given 5 weeks to make a game, and that's not really close to any bit of time to do anything, really. But yeah, that's about it.